my dear students. Welcome back to the second part of our online math class with Teacher Ray.
Well, hello there. I've been growing some plants and measuring their heights. Here's a table showing the heights of 10 of my plants. But we can display this same data in a way that makes it easier to analyze by making a line plot. To make a line plot, we should first create a frequency table to organize the data. A frequency table uses numbers to show how many times a given response occurs. Our frequency table should have 3 columns, one for the heights, one for the tallies, and one for the frequency of each height. We'll put a mark in the tally column each time the height is shown. The first height in inches is 10 1/4, then 9 1/2, 10, 10 1/4, and 10 1/2. That's the first column of the data table. Now, let's finish the frequency table by recording the rest of the heights. The remaining heights are 10 1/2, 10 1/4, 10 3/4, 9 3/4, and 10. Now we count the tallies for our frequency. So, 9 1/2 has 1, 9 3/4 has 1, 10 has 2, 10 1/4 has 3, 10 1/2 has 2, and finally 10 3/4 has 1. Now we'll draw a number line that includes all the values we need to display. Notice that our data values fall between 9 inches and 11 inches. So, our number line should go from 9 to 11 with intervals of 1/4. Next, we mark a dot for each tally for the values in the data set. Be sure to write a title for the line plot and use a label that describes the numbers on the line. The tallies are 1 each for 9 1/2 and 9 3/4. 2 for 10, 3 for 10 1/4, 2 for 10 1/2, and 1 for 10 3/4. So, this line plot displays the data from the frequency table of recorded heights in inches for my plants. Line plots are an easy-to-read display for data.
Okay, it's time to check your answers. Let us answer independent practice 707. It's time to check your answers. Independent practice, page 707. In 4 and 5, complete the line plot for each data set. Okay, so our number line is given. Let us put the data above the numbers. 11 1/4, 12 1/2, 11 1/4, 14 3/4, 10 1/2, 11 1/4, and 12. Number 5. So let's start with 1 1/8, 2, 1 1/2, 1 1/4, 1 1/8, 1, 2, 1 1/2, and 1 1/4. In 6 and 7, construct a line plot for each data set. So first, let's make a line or number line. 0, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and 1. So aside from putting dots, we can also use X. So in this case, we will use X. 1/2, 3/4, 3/4, 1, 1, 0, 1/2, 1/2, and 3/4. Number 7, 5, 5 and 1/8, 5 and 1/4, 5 and 3/8, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 5/8, 5 and 3/4, 5 and 7 over 8, 6. Okay, so let's start with 5 and half, 5, 5, 5 and 1 over 8, 5 and 3/4, 5 and 1/4, 5 and half, 5 and 1 over 8, 5 and half, and 5 and 3 over 8. Next page, 708, number 10. Suppose Martin's tree service bought 2 more saplings that were each 27 and 1/4 inches tall. Would the value that occurred most often change? Yes. Now, 27 and 1/4 and 27 and a half occurs 6 times. Next number, 13. Amy measured how many centimeters the leaves on her houseplants grew in July. Use the leaf growth data below to complete the line plot on the right. So the title of our line plot is Leaf Growth in July. Our length is in centimeters. So first we have 2 and half, 4 and half, 4, 4, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3 and half, 3 and half, 3 and half, 2 and half, 3, 3 and half, 3 and half, and 5 and a half. Okay, next, page 710. In 3 and 4, use the table showing data from recipes used in a chili cooking contest. Draw a number line, plot the data. Next page, 710. In 3 and 4, use the table showing data from recipes used in a chili cooking contest. Number 3, draw a line plot of the data. So we will start with 4, 4 and half, 5, 5 and half, and 6. So let's put our marks. 5, 5 and half, 4 and half, 4 and half, 4 and half. 1, 2, 3. So we have another 3 4 and halves, and then 4 and 3/4, and 4 and a half. Number 4. Suppose the contestants were asked to make 2 batches of the recipe instead of 1 batch. Would the value of the amount of beans that occurred most often be different? Explain. The answer is yes, because each value would double, including the value of 4 and a half. And we're down to our last item, number 7. The list below shows the weight in ounces of various rock samples. Use the data to complete the line plot on the right. So again, the title of our line plot is Weight of Rock Samples. So we have 8 and 1/4, 7 and half, 5 and 1/4, 6 and 3/4, 7, 7, 8 and 1/4, 5 and 1/4, 5 and 1/4, 7 and a half, 7, 7, 6 and 3/4, and 7. Did you get all the answers correctly? Very good. Alright, so that ends our lesson for today. I hope you learned something on how you're going to make a line plot and how are you going to organize the data sets given to you. That's all for today. Goodbye class, and see you in my next video. Have a nice day. Bye.